Hello friends and welcome back. And today we are taking a look at a figure that I had no intention of owning. So yeah, we are looking at Studio Series Shockwave. As I said, I had no intention of owning this guy because I own this guy. And to me it didn't seem worthwhile double dipping because, you know, it's the same figure. Except it kind of isn't. And we'll talk about that here in a second. So looking at the box art here, we can see we got the spaceship submarine mode again. And then we have Shockwave right there. Looking all shockwavy. On this side, we got a scene from Cybertron. We got the 40th anniversary for the movie. We got Shockwave here again on this side. Transformers La Film yet again. And then on the back, we got the scene of Laserbeak Returns Megatron from the movie. And, you know, little pics of Shockwave. All there. So, yeah, I had not planned to get this figure again because I owned the original Siege version. And I'm perfectly happy with the original Siege version. I thought that just getting rid of the sculpted detail on him wasn't enough of a reason for me to double dip. And then I walked into Target and he was there, and once I held him in hand and got a good look at him, it became pretty obvious that I needed to get this guy. So right off the bat, there's a lot more going on here than just getting rid of all of the sculpted greebling, as we've come to call that. The most notable thing really comes down to that chest. The tech detail behind the chest is nice and silvery underneath there and just pops. He still has the amazing light piped eye. He doesn't have a black paint in there, but as you can see, there is a matte finish in there, which kind of makes it sort of, you know, shadow in all on its own. But this is completely resculpted, entirely new parts for the most part. The only thing that is the same from the original figure, the feet are the same. The thighs and the knees are the same. The hand and the gun is the same. The cable here, while it is a different color plastic, it is the same. The backpack piece, the little landing gear in there, and the armature that these are attached to are the same. Everything else on this is an entirely new sculpt, new piece. You can see the shoulders are completely different. The chest here is very different. Waist is different. Crotch is different. Legs are completely different. Arms are different. And of course, you know, you got the Decepticon symbol on here that just pops so much more than this one does behind all the greebling. You don't have the weird dirty feet paint. Now you are missing the paint here on the sides of the legs, which I think is kind of a shame. Oh yeah, the fin pieces here are the same also as the original. And of course, you know, you've got a different color plastic being used here for the thighs. But yeah, overall, other than that, you know, it's the same figure, but it just looks so much better and pops so much more. And it's not a lack of sculpted detail, because he does still have a decent amount of sculpted detail. He just doesn't have the overuse of detail, which some people hated. I did not hate that. I always thought that looked pretty good. Again, the purple is very different. This is very much the G1 toy color, and this is his cartoon color. I mean, just for comparison, there's the G1 toy, as you can see, right there. So, yeah. Oh, I squeezed this trigger and made a noise. So, yeah. Now, of course, articulation and everything is the same as on the original. There is no difference here except the hips. So the hips on the original are ratcheted. Here on the new one, they are friction. No ratchets here. He does still have the ratchets in the knees like the original did, but there is no ratchets in the hips. All the other articulation, ball joint head, universal shoulders, universal elbows, bicep swivel, universal knees, thigh swivel, feet pivot, everything else is identical. Now he does come with an accessory, which is, I just killed him. That just happened. So he does come with an accessory. This time it is him in gun mode. Very hollow on one side, very oddly shaped. Now this is not the first instance we've gotten of him in his gun mode. If you did get the Centurion pack, you also got this with that, which is also him in gun mode. Arguably a little bit better, more accurate version of him in gun mode. About the only real difference here that this one has over the other one is it does sculpt on the wire, but it's missing the little scope bit here, which the actual toy does not have, I should point out. But again, just cast in solid plastic. Now, when they first unveiled this guy, they said that this was part of how he combines into Bruticus. They lied. This does not factor into him combining into Bruticus. But it is a 5mm peg, so you can have him hold himself, or likewise, you can have any other Transformer with a 5mm peg, hold him in gun mode as such. Now, unfortunately, while they did resculpt all this stuff, he is still the same height. So he is the same height as the new Seeker mold. The new Seeker mold, of course, being a bit taller, but he still stands substantially short compared to Soundwave and Megatron, as you can see right here. I do feel like it comes down to Soundwave being too big, maybe? But he feels about the right height for Megatron, so it really just comes down to now Shockwave and the Seekers. The new Seeker mold, which is already bigger, just being too short maybe, even though they still look good with Megatron, just, with Soundwave, they're too small. Now, since this is just a retool of an existing figure, I'm not going to go into the transformation here. We'll just put him in his vehicle mode, and vehicle mode, that's just weird calling him that, but we'll just transform him off screen and do comparisons from there. Now, one thing I will point out with the transformation, though, is that there is something new in his transformation, and that's these little tabs on his arms. So those tabs are designed to slot in to the holes that already exist on that frame right in here, which does hold the whole thing in a little bit better than it did on the original version. You can get it in there. And holds this a lot more straight and a lot more solid. And so here he is transformed into his submarine mode or spaceship mode. Of course, just as before, it's his gun mode turned upside down to be a thing. So you can see there how that all looks. And compared with the original, you can see here a few things. One is that they've left this completely clear, whereas here they painted the backside in silver. Again, you got that much better chest. Completely, like I said, everything's a completely new sculpt. So the cockpit area or the tower is completely new. But one thing that's missing from the original is that this one carried over that amazing light-piped eye into the I guess you want to say bridge area there, which they don't have on this one, which I think is a shame because that is a cool feature. We got a couple more paint apps on the new one right there. And of course, this one doesn't come with any of the extra spaceship mode bits. So, nothing there. But it does have all the holes and tab slots in the same location. So if you wanted to, you could plug all of those on here if you so chose. But again, they're a different color of purple, so they don't quite match up. Now, he does have storage for the mini version of himself, the little gun here. You can see you got a little peg hole right here and a groove going down through here. This will tab into that and just lock into there. And boom, storage for his little self in gun mode. Now, of course, there's this guy. A review of him coming soon, hopefully. So the big selling point of this new Shockwave is that he integrates with Bruticus. Not in the way that he was integrated in the original show. If you remember, they basically grabbed him, turned him into a gun mode, fired him, then shoved him in his rocket and fired him off into space. But they did make a shoulder cannon mode for this guy. So what we're going to do here, go ahead and fold that up. I like to go ahead and take this off and plug it in up here. I think they want you to keep it on this piece here, but I just think that looks a little bit better. And then we're going to untab this. And we have these little circles right here. And those are going to peg into these little posts right there. We might have to untab the legs ever so slightly to get that to tab in, just like so. Then here on Bruticus, on Blastoff's arm, we've got a little tiny little tab slot right there. And then we've got the little connecting tab slot here for where the two arms connect together in vehicle mode right there. And so this tab right here is going to go into that slot, and this tiny little tab coming off of his chest is going to go to the one on the front. So we just line that up, tab that in, get a little flexing of parts going past parts, which I'm not a big fan of, but it works. And there you go. You can have Shockwave now as a shoulder cannon, a very unwieldy, oversized shoulder cannon for the Brute. It does articulate still a little bit, but it does hinder that articulation a little bit. As you can see, you can't go past that now with that sitting on there, but hey. And just to show this off, you technically can put the old version of Shockwave here in that shoulder. The tab on the back is the same size. It just doesn't really lock in very well, and it's pretty easy to knock off, but it's still doable should you wish to do that. And so, yeah, I mean, that's basically all there is to say about the Studio Series Shockwave. He is an unnecessary figure if you already have the Siege version. I was so proud of myself talking myself out of buying him until I held him in hand. And once I had him in hand, my opinion changed dramatically. He is an upgrade. Make no mistake of that. He is an upgrade, but he's not a major upgrade. So if you are on the fence and still trying to decide, I mean, it's really just going to come down to visual appearance. I do think he pops a lot more, and he just looks much nicer in hand than the original version did. That being said, I still like the original version quite a bit, so I might find a way to keep both of them. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I picked this guy up at Target. He is out. So happy hunting. Y'all have a good one.